Hello, and thanks for joining us. My name's Nikki Duffy from choosingfortoday.com, and I am a life coach, a property investor, and an energy healing facilitator. And I'm here today with the lovely Sara Ellis. And Sara, I'll let you introduce yourself.
I am, first and foremost, a Nikki fan. And then when I'm not adoring Nikki, I am a hypnotherapist and eating disorders counselor, and I make people beautiful. And I make people see their beauty. I force them to.
Yes, even more important, isn't it? Because there's so many beautiful people walking around who think they're ugly or think they're horrible or have like limiting beliefs about themselves.
Oh my gosh, everyone's beautiful.
Yeah, wow, yeah.
And if you're not walking around knowing that, then that's a sin. As far as I'm concerned, it's a sin in my book.
Yeah, and helping people to see that is a real gift, Sara. So fabulous. So I've got a little list of questions which I'm going to keep referring to. And my first one for you is how and when did you get started in this line of work?
Well, from an early age, I knew that I wanted to be a therapist, which is a bit strange because there was nobody in my community. It's not like, sometimes people have a parent or an auntie or an uncle or somebody that they look up to and think, oh, I would like to be a lawyer or a doctor because they are. No, there was nobody. There weren't psychotherapists back then, or certainly not where I lived. I lived in a piddly little backwater town. And so I'm not sure where I got the notion from, but it was in me from a very early age. And at about, I'd say 16, I started reading every book that I could. I loved reading, and I knew that I wanted to do it, but I didn't know how. And like a lot of things and a lot of people, I went about it a bit of a complicated way. There's a great saying, wish I knew back then what I know now. And I trained as a psychotherapist. I did an undergraduate degree, which really wasn't much help. I could have done it a lot quicker. Then I did a long psychotherapy training, and then I did my hypnosis training, which you were on as well, Nikki. That's where I met you.
Yes. And that was back in 2002, wasn't it?
Yes. Oh my gosh, we're getting old. 15 years ago. Yes. So for 15 years, I've been a hypnotherapist, but before that, I was a practicing therapist and counselor. But I really do think that, all my training is wonderful and qualifications are good. But I think it's a little bit like when people learn to drive, they pass the test, and then that's really when they learn the driving. And most of what I've learned has been through experience.
That's a very good point. Yes, it's the training is good, and then after the training, that's when the learning really starts. Yeah.
Yes. But I always knew that I wanted to do this, and I knew that I wanted to help people, and I knew that it was my life's purpose.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so my next question is about your life, and was there a life event or situation that triggered you either, you've spoken about knowing you've always wanted to do this kind of thing, and was there something specific that maybe later on that triggered you to pick a certain path within the field?
Oh yes, absolutely. I had a problem with eating distress, eating dysfunction, and I struggled for many years, and I hated my body. I had very poor body image. I lived in a body that I hated. And like a lot of women, I yo-yo dieted. I did punishing diets for years. Really, I would say that my body hatred and dysfunction around eating started quite early in my teens. I'd say around 14, 15. And I just did punishing diet after punishing diet. And I yo-yoed. So I would lose the weight, but I couldn't maintain it. And then I would binge and not only put the weight back on, but gain even more, because as we know, that's how the metabolism works. If you've been starving, it thinks that you've been in a famine or a war situation, so the metabolism locks down, so then you get even fatter. And so I yo-yo dieted for years, about 15 years, and in my late 20s, I just reached a point where I said, I cannot do this again. I am not going to put my body through this, another punishing diet. And not just my body, my soul. Right. Diets are soul destroying. And I just said, I cannot do this again. Please, God, show me a way. Please, there must be another way to do this. Show me a way. And I really do think that when we ask, we are guided. And I came across 2 books about addressing the emotional and psychological and spiritual side of why we overeat and hate our bodies. And from there on, everything unraveled, and I started eating healthily, loving my body, and I decided that I wanted to help other people do that, to have freedom from it. I mean, it is such a waste of your time and energy.
Yes, yeah. And yeah, so that's a really good example of having a miserable situation that was no fun at all, and finding a way out of it, and then looking to help other people who are smack bang in the middle of that awful situation, and helping them find a way out, find a more joyful, more fun, more effective way of resolving the situation.
Yes.
Yeah.
High five to that.
Okay, high five.
Yeah. Life is too short. Life is too short.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And also, I mean, we've only got this one body in this one life, and we might as well have fun with it and enjoy it and get the most out of it, rather than, as you said, keep punishing it and having a miserable time. So
absolutely, you would not do that to a pet. I'm sure a lot of people watching this are animal lovers. They may even have pets or a horse, and you absolutely would not do it to an animal. You would not keep giving it food that made it miserable. You would not deprive it so that it felt faint and weak and miserable. You wouldn't do that. So why do we think it's okay and acceptable to do it to ourselves? It isn't.
Absolutely. Yes. Very cool. So, the field you're in is not your usual, career path of, the average person. So, did you have any reservations about going down this different path?
I didn't, but the people around me did. I mean, it's, as I mentioned, I'm from a small town, very conventional, let's call it, community, where people have normal jobs, and you're encouraged to get a normal job, whatever that is. So, and okay, nowadays a lot of people are coaches, and this kind of thing is more acceptable. But back when I started over 20 years ago, it wasn't. And certainly hypnosis was considered a bit wacky and woohoo. So I had to, although I always believed in it, I knew that it was what I wanted to do. I had to keep the faith. When all around you are saying, that's a bit wacky.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. So even though you knew it was the right path for you, you still had to deal with everybody else around you, like, weirdo alert, that kind of thing. Yeah, yes. I know that feeling too. Yeah. So what would you say were your biggest obstacles in overcoming any of the biggest obstacles that you had to overcome to where you are now, and how did you overcome them?
I would say that it's definitely, as I said before, keep the faith. You have to believe in yourself. I mean, look, we all know that J.K. Rowling had rejection letters from publishers, and what isn't so well known, I read this as well, and I love telling this story, that when she finally did get a publisher, and she signed the deal, when she left the office, the publisher said to her, "You'll never make money from children's books, Jo."
Wow. Yeah.
And look, I could keep you here all day with these stories. The people that started Amazon, when they went to financial backers, the financial backers said, "This won't work." Amazon.
Yeah. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
There will always be naysayers and doubters, and so in the face of that, I had to keep the faith and believe in myself and say, this is what I want to do. And thank you very much. I appreciate your concern, but this is what I want to do, and I'm going to do it.
Yes. Yeah. Fantastic. And also, a lot of people say that the clients they've helped and the success stories that they have and the way that they've seen someone in a really tough place, after working with you, moving to a place that is just like opens up their life in a way that they've not been able to before. That can be a way to help keep the faith and keep on track and know that what you're doing is right for you and right for your clients.
Oh yes, 100%. I mean, it's priceless. There isn't any amount of money that could buy that feeling when somebody says to you, "You changed my life." I've had people say to me, "I'm so glad that I met you. I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't met you." So yes, when you do that, and I don't change people's life. I help them to change their lives.
Very cool.
When that happens, yeah, absolutely, that is the most rewarding thing that you could possibly ever have.
Yeah, fantastic. So this might be an obvious question for you, but what are the most frequent challenges that you find clients come to you with, and how do you help them solve them?
Well, I see clients for many things, from stop smoking, weight loss, to confidence, fear of public speaking, relationship issues. But really, I would say one thing underpins everything, and that is low self-esteem, low self-worth. And it's a disease in our society, and I think it's a crying shame.
Okay, so yeah, low self-worth that is expressed through eating disorders and other things, other outside ways of expressing it.
And it manifests then in their relationships. They don't feel deserving, or at work, or if they have to be in front of people and make a presentation or something.
Okay. Oh, that's interesting. That's different from what I expected you to say, but now you said it.
What did you expect me to say?
I expected you to say, "Oh, I help people with eating disorders and stuff like that." But yeah, I suppose low self-worth is getting to the issue that goes below and beyond the outside expression of what's going on. So yeah.
Well, I do help people that have eating disorders, but usually, as I say, what is underlying that is low self-esteem and low self-worth, because they don't think that they're worthy of having a healthy body. They don't think that they are deserving of living in a body that they love, having a life that they love.
Right. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so my last question is, what kind of thing do you offer clients, and how can people who might be interested in what you have to offer get in touch with you, Sarah?
Okay, well, if like you and I, Nikki, they're Facebook people, I'm always on Facebook. You can find me. There's no H on my name, so it's Sara Ellis. And my website is Sara-Ellis.co.uk. And what I help people with is, as I said before, living their best lives, empowering them to have the life that they're meant to have. If you have a life that you think in any way is below par, whether that is you don't have the body you want, you don't have the energy you want, you don't have the success in your career that you want, maybe there's something that you would like to be doing, whatever it is. It might be, you know, you've always wanted to train and run the marathon, or you've always wanted to go up Mount Everest, or you've always wanted to be a certain size that you know is the real you. You would love to get into a size 10 jeans. You know that that is the real you. Or if you're a guy watching this, I don't know what the waist would be, a 32-inch waist. If you're not at your highest potential, you know that you're living your life a little bit like the TV is on black and white, and you know that there's a dial that could be switched to turn on the color, then I can help you get there.
I love the way you describe that. Yes, if you know your life, you're living your life in the black and white and the small box of a TV, Sarah can help you expand that and turn up the color in your life. I love that, Sarah.
Yeah, you just get rid of the blocks. I can help you. Hypnosis, and I have other tools and techniques as well, but hypnosis is a wonderful tool for that. I mean, you know, Nikki, to get there and get rid of those blocks so that you're really having the life that you deserve, not a weak imitation of life.
Fantastic. That's great, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining me here today. And goodbye, everyone.
Thank you, Nikki. Thanks. Bye.